racism and discrimination, two areas that are all too familiar for Black women in America. We're going to unpack the basics, address some head-scratching myths, and equip you with tools to navigate this persistent struggle. Racism goes beyond name-calling. It's a system of power that privileges whiteness and disadvantages people of color. Discrimination is the action, the way that racism plays out. It can be intentional, like denying someone a job because of their race, or unintentional, like a school policy that disproportionately affects Black students. Now, some folks might argue, I don't see color. But racism isn't just about individual preferences. Think about it like this. Imagine two runners starting a race, but one has weights tied to their ankles. That's the kind of head start white people often get due to systemic advantages, not because of any superiority. Black people are incredibly powerful with a rich history and vibrant culture, but systemic racism creates barriers that limit our opportunities in America's current system. Let's talk history. Slavery, Jim Crow laws, and segregation may be chapters in the past, but their impacts linger. These systems denied Black people opportunities, creating a legacy of wealth and education gaps that continue to this day. Black communities are often under-resourced, and these disadvantages can feel like carrying heavy weights in a race. Black women experience racism in a unique way. It intersects with sexism, meaning we face prejudice based on both race and gender. We're often stereotyped as strong but angry, loud but uneducated. This can make it harder to get a job, secure funding for a business, or even be taken seriously by medical professionals. For example, think of the brilliant Shonda Rhimes, who has revolutionized television. She too faced doubts because of racial and gender bias in Hollywood. Now let's talk about microaggressions. Microaggressions are those everyday comments or actions that seem minor but build up over time. They are a real source of pain. They're things like being told your hair is unprofessional or constantly being mistaken for another Black colleague. These things chip away at your confidence. Now, next, let's move on to some common myths and debunk them. Myth number 1, racism is over. Not true. While progress has been made, racism is alive and well. Myth number 2, if you work hard, you'll overcome racism. While hard work is essential, systemic barriers make it an uphill battle for Black women. As the poet Maya Angelou said, still I rise. We rise despite the obstacles, but those obstacles exist. Myth number 3, speaking up makes things worse. Staying silent allows racism to persist. Speak your truth, but prioritize your safety. As advised by author and activist Audre Lorde, your silence will not protect you. Myth number 4, racism is just prejudice. Prejudice is a personal bias, while racism is a systemic issue. Myth number 5, color blindness solves racism. Ignoring race doesn't erase its impact. We need to acknowledge race to dismantle racist structures. Myth number 6, reverse racism exists. Racism requires power, which Black people as a marginalized group don't hold in America's current system. Black people can absolutely be prejudiced against other races, but that's not racism because it doesn't function within a system of power. Okay, so how do we navigate this? Here are some tools. First and foremost, know your worth. Do not settle for disrespect. Next, know your rights. Educate yourself on anti-discrimination laws and how to report incidents. Next, build your support network. Surround yourself with friends and family who uplift you. Moving on. Practice self-care. Racism takes a toll. Prioritize your mental and emotional well-being through therapy, mindfulness, or spending time in nature. Next, speak up. Do not be afraid to speak your truth. If you witness or experience racism, call it out. Your voice matters. Document incidents, keep records for potential action. But remember, your safety is paramount. Only speak up when you feel comfortable. We don't have to fight this alone. Get involved in organizations working for racial justice. Support Black-owned businesses. Mentor younger generations. Together, we can dismantle these systems and create a more equitable future. Okay, let's talk about the fact that it's okay to not be okay. Racism takes a toll. If you're struggling, you are not alone. Seek support from therapists or counselors who understand your experiences. There's no shame in asking for help. Moving on to Black joy. Black joy is resistance. Remember, despite all this, we are a force to be reckoned with. Celebrate your Black culture, your achievements, and your joy. It's a powerful act of resistance in the face of oppression. Think of an icon like Beyoncé. She uses her platform to celebrate Black culture and empower others. We all have that power. Next, remember that you are enough. Remember, ladies, you are worthy of respect and love and success. No matter what anyone says, your Blackness is beautiful. Racism doesn't define you. So try to stay strong, stay connected, and keep fighting for the world you deserve. Now let's talk about some resources and organizations. There are amazing organizations working towards racial justice. Check out the National Black Women's Leadership Council or the NAACP for resources and ways to get involved. Finally, remember to take an opportunity when you can to educate others. Talk to your family and friends about racism and how it manifests. Did you know that a study by the American Psychological Association showed that racial microaggressions can lead to depression and anxiety in Black youth? Share this information to raise awareness. Also, support Black-owned businesses. This is economic empowerment. Look for Black-owned restaurants, clothing stores, and professional services in your community. And lastly, vote. Now, some might say my vote doesn't count, but listen, electing officials who understand and prioritize racial justice issues is critical. Every vote counts, especially in local elections where voter turnout is often low. Alicia Garza, co-founder of Black Lives Matter, encourages us to vote like your life depends on it because it does. Thank you, ladies, for joining me today. Remember, knowledge is power. Let's keep learning, keep fighting, and keep thriving. Stay tuned for more videos on navigating life as a Black woman in America, and remember to stay being unbothered.